All right, Andy, my boy, it's another episode of America's Hometown Horror. And before we get going, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, and tonight's sponsor is HelloFresh. Yet again, Fresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? Well, with HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there's something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on HelloFresh, your first order, the #1 meal kit with HelloFresh. I would not recommend eating HelloFresh and then watching this movie tonight.
No, it'd be more like Hello Vomit.
Hello Vomit, yeah, for sure. With that being said, away we go. What's up, everyone? What is up? What is going on? And welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror, the second of 2 episodes dropping this week, a very special week. And tonight, I am joined by my esteemed co-host. There's an empty chair over here.
Hello.
Hello.
Cat,
Where are you? And that's my buddy Andrew. What's up, pal?
What's up, man? It's a little bit weird.
I know.
Never been on an episode. I mean, I've never done an episode where it's just you and me.
I know. It's actually, this should be fun tonight.
I just have been wondering, like, who am I going to make fun of now?
I know. Well, you could make fun of me, but it's more fun to make fun of Kat.
But we usually have similar thoughts, and Kat's more fun.
Yeah.
I'll make fun of her anyway, even though she's not here.
I will say that Kat, as much as we bust Kat's balls, it's all out of love, and she does take it in stride very well most of the time. And she
gives it right back.
She dishes it out.
Yeah. I wouldn't make fun of Kat if I didn't love her.
Of course.
And if she didn't make fun of me.
Yeah. So. What's up, Kat? If you're listening, which you won't be.
No. Does she listen?
No.
She's not one of our listeners.
That's correct. She is one of our contributors, not one of our listeners.
Better.
But what's up, pal? What's going on?
Not much. Just enjoying this mid-fall weather. It was like summer today.
Yeah, today was a little steamy.
Kind of gross.
Little steamy, Rayvon.
I'm getting ready for those nice 65-degree days.
Yeah, I know.
Cool breeze, overcast.
Me too.
I'm done with this
summer
weather.
I'm with you. So now that it's officially out there in the ether, and we have released our episode where we interviewed Mary Barrett Costello from Barrett's Haunted Mansion, the owner of Barrett's Haunted Mansion. We were up there last night, got a chance to go through everything and take a look behind the scenes before it all opens. What'd you think of the whole experience? Obviously, spoiler-free because it's not open yet. We don't want to ruin anything for anyone that hasn't gone yet, but what'd you think?
I got to say, shout out to Mary and the crew that we met there. I wasn't expecting to get a behind-the-scenes tour of the upcoming Barrett's exhibits, and that was awesome.
They really treated us great.
Being able to see it before, it's almost fully done. They still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Being able to see it in the light of day made it so much. You get so much more appreciation for what they actually do.
Yeah.
Because like we were saying last night, like when you go through there, just as a guest, half the time you're not even you miss so much because you're just trying to get through this thing without being scared shitless, that you miss a lot of the intricacies of it, but they do it. They dot every I in that place.
Yeah, cross every T, everything in between. I mean, so we essentially last night we got the lights on tour.
Yeah, basically.
And it wasn't even completed yet. And I mean, they are so far along, but it's insane. Like, at that point, they were 3 days away from opening, and it seemed like they were still working round the clock to get everything ready to go.
We got there,
Friday
6
night.
o'clock, and they were still there banging it out.
Oh, and I think they had a lot more to go. So I know they'll be raring and ready to go on Friday night. As of now, we're slated to go there on Friday night, on opening night, to go through the attractions. Safe to say you're a little nervous about walking through all this shit in the dark?
Yeah, that is going to be very scary.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So the only haunted houses that you've walked through
is Barrett's.
When did you go to Barrett's?
I've been to Barrett's like twice. I was there about 8 years ago, and then like probably early 2000s.
Okay. So the only haunted houses that you've walked through since we started this podcast was when we went to Spooky World last year.
Yeah.
Right? Because Barrett's didn't have that.
No,
Barrett just had the screens and screams.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think, Spooky World is what it is. They do a good job. Barrett's does a great job.
Well, the thing is, too, even knowing what's going to happen makes it a little bit scarier, I think, because I know it's coming, but you don't know where it's coming from.
I know.
It's like, and the ideas, the concepts behind them, they're so good that it's like, this is absolutely terrifying.
And they have a really diverse array of themes in all the rooms. Everything looked so cool. I just can't wait to see it all finished and walking through it and getting scared and, obviously keeping it spoiler-free, but... as of now, as I said, we're planning on going Friday night, and we're going to drop a full review of the event next week.
I will tell everyone, too, one little tidbit that's not a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
And we were told by the owner herself, Mary, why are you going opening night?
Yeah.
And she's right. Like, they're still working out the kinks. So if you go there opening night, if you go there opening weekend, just remember... It's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
So it's going to still scare the fucking shit out of you. Yeah. That's for sure. I can guarantee that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would recommend if you go opening weekend, maybe go like 2 weeks later and see how it changes. Like, it's what can hurt from going more than once? You're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great meal afterwards at the Abington Ale House.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be awesome.
I would say, so a little inside info. I would just say the reason that we're going so early is because... Obviously, we wanted to get the interview with Mary out before the season kicked off, and I wanted to get the review of this year out early in the season so that if people wanted to hear our thoughts on it before they went, I mean, they're going to go anyway, but if they wanted to hear what we thought of it, it's out early enough in the season that they have plenty of time to still go.
I would also like to, while I have the stage, apologize for my comment last year to Barrett's when I said... I can't believe they're charging $3 for a can of soda.
Yeah.
After finding out that everyone working there were volunteers and that they were barely breaking even with what they were doing with the screams and scenes, or scenes and screams, however you want to say it.
Screens and screams.
Screens and screams.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
I would just like to bring that back a notch as someone that owns a business and runs a business and it's hard to be profitable. $3 for a can of soda, I will pay that every time if it means that they can stay open and do what they do.
Yeah.
So it was well worth it.
I think if I had to, sum up our visit there yesterday in a couple of thoughts, I would say the passion that everyone that works there has for this event is palpable.
Oh.
Everyone loves working there. Everyone seems to love Mary, and by all accounts, everything I've read, everything I've heard from people, she is a great owner to work for and lets you be creative and treat you well, which, I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that.
No, she seems like a great person to work for.
The
passion oozes like the blood from the severed limbs of the...
of many people in
attractions.
This movie, right?
Or in this movie, too, that we're going to be talking about. Jesus Christ.
So, and actually, to your point about what you were saying about Barrett's beforehand, I actually think the most bang for your buck, having gone to Barrett's, probably, I've gone at least 10 times, probably more, I'd say probably closer to 15 over the years. The best bang for your buck is if you go for Bite and Fright, or Fright and Bite, whatever it is, which basically you can go on Thursday or Sunday night, and if you do that, you can get a meal at the Abington Ale House and your ticket for a fixed price. That's the best deal that
that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I would do that in a heartbeat.
And they're actually, I mentioned this on the episode that we released, on the Mary interview episode, but they're offering an upgraded version of that this year called the RIP Bite and Fright Experience, where essentially you go, I think she said it's in a separate section of the restaurant, but you go, you get one of the meals that you pick, you get a ticket to the house, and you also, like, while you're eating, the actors interact with you, like, while you're eating.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And that was the $50 RIP ticket price that I saw?
There's an RIP ticket where basically that just gets you, like, to the front of the line. It's like an express pass.
That's what that is. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually, forgive me, I don't know what the...
Well, I was looking with Craig earlier today because Craig was
but
curious what it would cost to get in.
Yeah.
It looked like the regular ticket was like $30.
Oh, that nerd should totally come with us. He's got nothing
I
to do
told
Friday night.
And you know how Craig is. He's a curmudgeon, and he doesn't like fun, and everything's
Craig,
expensive.
Craig's not like fun.
Blah, blah, blah. $30. I'm like, Craig, you spent $30 on like 3 beers in 7 minutes when we go to the bar, so shut up.
Totally true. Yeah. All right, cool. So, yeah, if you haven't yet, check out our episode where we interview Mary Barrett Costello. I had a blast doing it. I just, honestly, I feel like, doing this show, not to get weird, is just opened so many doors for us, and just, working with not only Mary last night and getting to interview the owner of Barrett's Haunted Mansion, but only like that and working with like Spooky World, the movie. I can't believe some of the doors that this has opened for us, and I'm so humbled by the whole thing.
It was awesome. I mean, and I got to say, too, the only thing that was more horrifying than the actual exhibits, I would call them, exhibits. Scenes.
Yeah.
Was how much you sweat during that interview.
Oh, my God, I was dying. So,
I mean, is Craig here? No?
Yeah, no, I was,
pouring sweat. It was toasty in there.
I'm a large man. I've lost quite a bit of weight, but I'm still a big man. I'm big and tall, and we actually
Haggers.
Yeah.
Haggard?
No. I don't have haggers. I don't need to shop at DXL or anything like that. I'm not that big.
No, you're not big at all. I think you just sweat.
I'm just always hot. I'm always hot, and we actually sat at a table at the Abington Ale House and interviewed Mary for that interview. And it was closed for the day, so the AC wasn't on. And when we sat down, immediately I was just dripping sweat.
It was so funny when she's like, "Should I open that door?"
Yeah, she called me right on. She was like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, sorry, I'm just, just sweaty,
just dripping on the microphone.
Just
here,
those sweaty Walsh jeans. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Sweaty hands and sweaty everything. Clam hands, but."
Clam hands.
Watch anything go over the last week besides good old NFL football?
I was
my
gonna say,
friend.
Red Zone in football for about
Patriots.
12 hours.
Yep.
And the movie we're going to talk about tonight. Watch that.
Yeah.
Really haven't had time to watch anything. I mean, it's been Thursday night I watched football. Friday was whatever that was.
Yeah. So when Kat and I got home last night, we checked out one more episode of American Horror Stories, and it was okay. It was a Christmas themed one. And it was, I think, probably the weakest one that we watched so far. We have a couple left. We have had so much going on between the podcast and work and everything else that I haven't had time to watch a lot of TV, and there's so much stuff I want to watch. I haven't watched any of the new season of American Horror Story. Haven't finished American Horror Stories.
These are all things that we're going to have to catch up on.
I know.
After the Halloween season, because there's no time. Well, there literally is.
There's only so many hours in the
day.
We're
podcast mode 3 days of the week, I feel like, right now.
I agree.
Like, what is it going to be? 3 podcasts?
I mean, so I think we're looking at, for the next couple of weeks, probably at least, we're probably looking at 2 episodes a week for the next 3 weeks.
Just so you guys know, we're working overtime, and we're not getting paid extra for this.
Yeah, we believe me, we know this is our big time season, and this is where we, people tend to listen to us the most, so we're prepared for that. So, with that being said, we kind of shared our thoughts and everything else that was going on. You ready to jump into Malignant?
No news, huh?
No news. I don't have any
news.
No news. No news is
good news. No
news.
news is good news, yes.
If Kat was here right now. Oh, Kat, wait, what do you think about no news? Oh, wait. No, she's not here. All right, okay. Ready to talk some Malignant?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it. Well, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I don't even know if I know where to begin with this movie tonight. I guess I'll say first and foremost that, this movie has kind of been highlighted for me since the beginning. Not since the beginning of this year, but when they announced this movie was going to be happening, when it first came out, the news came out that this was happening. James Wan was coming off directing Aquaman, so a huge superhero movie that made a lot of money and did well for DC. And then it broke that he was going to be returning to his horror roots and was going to direct a completely original story. Horror movie. Not too many details out in addition to that, excuse me. So, I feel like when that news kind of breaks, you hear James Wan, you hear original story, he's a great horror director, and there aren't too many original stories out there anymore. I mean, there are, but not too many big budget releases that are original stories. Most things nowadays are franchises, which, say what you will about them. Obviously, those are what they are. But I think there's something to be said for original ideas, and oh my God, was this an original? I don't even know if an original idea is the right way to say it, but a unique twist on an idea that's been done different times. I don't even know if I know how to word this. So maybe I'll just kick it to you first.
I don't think it's been done. This was like a benign tumor that in 45 minutes started to take over your entire body.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest.
Spoilers.
The opening scenes of this movie, before the title comes out, like that, I was like, this is the cheesiest B-list bullshit fucking movie I've ever watched in my life. The opening of this movie sucked so hard, and I don't know if it was intentional.
Oh, see, I liked it.
But I thought it was so corny, such bad acting, that I was like, what am I about to watch? I almost checked out after about 5 minutes of this, and then it got, it was almost like it was intentional, it was trying to, because I don't want to say it's a throwback, but it's almost a throwback to kind of cheesy, gory horror.
See, I think it's definitely a throwback.
It's because I was watching, and maybe what surprised me so much was that I'm like, this is a James Wan movie, and it's starting off almost I'm trying to find a comparison, but it started off like a movie that I'd be randomly find on Amazon Prime and be like, what am I watching?
Yeah,
some 80s movie, and I was like, it seemed, looking back, I feel like it was intentional that they did it the way they did.
Yes,
but yeah,
I feel like this embraced the campiness and the B-movie style of horror, which is very different from... I think it's a testament to James Wan's range as a director and a storyteller, right? Because Saw, The Conjuring, Insidious, those are all movies that are meant to be taken very seriously. Yeah, and exactly. This one is not.
Well, it's given away in the first 5 minutes that it's not to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I watching?
Kind of just sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the fucking ride.
And when you buckle up, you better have that double buckled, because you're getting fucking thrown around.
And a barf bag. And everything in between.
I mean, talk about a kill count.
Yeah.
Through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you said you weren't a fan of the opening scene. I thought the opening scene was intriguing. It piqued my attention.
So here's what I'll say. Having watched the movie fully, I'm fine with the opening scene now.
Yep.
Initially, I didn't like it. I thought it was... I'm like, this isn't a James Wan movie. What am I watching right now? What is this? This seems like they hired some bad actors, and now looking back on it, it kind of makes more sense. But I still don't like the opening scene. Okay,
that's fair enough. I thought it kind of grabbed you right from the beginning. It's interesting. The acting was, I think, intentionally bad. It's a horror trope, right? You're in an insane asylum, and there's basically a storm going on. It's this gothic castle up on a hill. The alarm's going off. You don't know what's going on, and then the doctor comes out oh my god, it seems like he's feeding on and speaking through the electricity.
And then I was like, one of the scenes too, I was like, is this fucking Jurassic Park with the raptor cage?
Yeah, you actually did say that. That was actually...
He sticks his arm in it, and all of a sudden
arm gets snapped off.
I was like, is there a raptor
He's trying to
in
stick
there?
a tranquilizer gun in there, but obviously, so I thought, you didn't know what was going on. Then you see, the suggestion of some creature behind that, plastic wrap, whatever. You don't know what it is, right? And I thought that kind of grabbed me from the beginning, and it didn't really let go. The movie only gets wackier by the minute, and then it gets absolutely full-on batshit fuck-nuts bananas in the last 20-25 minutes.
Not even, it was almost an hour of batshit crazy.
It might even have been longer than that, excuse me. I just remember, we watched it... We watched it at home on HBO Max, and there was one point, I paused it to, get up to go to the bathroom, and I looked at it, and I was like, wow, there's half an hour left here. I wonder how this is going to end. And then all that shit, happened, right after.
Almost now, I kind of wish we saw that in theaters, because that...
I do. So that's one thing I will say. Obviously, it's nice to watch from the comfort of your own home, and I think for the sake of convenience and time for us, because we had so much going on, it was nice to be able to watch on HBO Max, but I would have preferred to have seen this on the big screen.
Well, also, I was fine with watching it on HBO Max, because when I went into it, I saw the trailer, I saw this, it looks good, looks scary. I just thought it was another paranormal movie that was just going to be scary with some jump scares and some ghosts and boogity-boogities, and it is not that at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not even close. And I feel like your opinion on this movie is going to depend on what you thought of those last 25, 30 minutes. Because...
To me?
I'm not saying your opinion.
Oh, no.
The opinion of, like, the viewer. Most people.
I fucking loved it.
As did I.
I love wacky, bananas, unrealistic, outside-the-box movies.
I know you do.
And this movie hit it on every level. We first watched the movie, and I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
And I went, thank God it wasn't just another run-of-the-mill. Not that his run-of-the-mill, not that Insidious or The Conjuring are run-of-the-mill, but they kind of are compared to this movie.
Yeah.
Like, this movie hits on so many different levels that, like you said, I don't even know where to start, what to compare it to. Like, it's difficult to think of something to compare this movie to.
So, I loved this movie. I personally think this is far and away my favorite horror movie of the year, and I don't even think it's close. This blows everything else that I've seen this year out of the water. It's better than Spiral from the Book of Saw. It's better than Candyman. It's better than the Fear Street trilogy. It's better than Quiet Place 2. It's better than anything else that I've seen.
Yeah, I would say it hits the mark. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. Time out. What? Kat has something. Kat's beeping in.
Nope.
She has something she'd like to say.
I don't know.
I didn't really like the background actors. They were kind of boring. I'd replace them with Ted Danson and
and Matthew McConaughey and Colin Farrell and
we can't let her not.
Good calls, Kat.
Sometimes.
Good calls, Kat. But yeah, I just think this is the fact again. I can't state this enough. The fact that this is an original story. It gets extra points for me because I feel like it's just like the creativity in this is so outlandish and crazy that it's incredible. And I think this just does nothing but add to the legacy of one James Wan as a director. I mean, he's kind of said in interviews since this has come out, and even before, that this is kind of his take on a Giallo style horror movie. Which, if you don't know what that is, that basically is a style of horror movie that was popularized by Italian filmmakers like Dario Argento, basically, so that type of thing, and I think you can see that influence here.
Do you really like those types of movies, though?
I'm generally not a fan of those movies. So, like, I think probably the most popular...
Suspiria.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Suspiria.
Did you ever see Neon Demon?
I've never seen Neon Demon, but I've heard I should.
It's inspired, like another one.
Yeah.
And they're weird, and they're interesting, and they're different, and they're a little bit... The thing about those is they're gory, and they're gross.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever get to this level of, like...
Yeah.
This, like, was, like, a Giallo with, like... Texas Chainsaw Massacre or like Scream mixed in, like just absolute bonkers.
So shit. I mean, I guess like without reading off a definition, my understanding of the Giallo style of filmmaking is basically it is a beautifully shot, extremely gory slasher type of horror movie that has a lot of sex and is basically has some supernatural elements tied in.
This movie, no sex, though.
No sex. No sex.
Was there even any sex?
I don't think so. No, there was actually...
There wasn't even
an incredible lack of sex.
Was there even a boob?
And an all-time asshole husband, boyfriend, whatever, in the beginning of the movie.
Is
Holy
fitting.
fuck. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's always going to be a thing.
So yeah, and I think... So I was kind of researching this, after we watched the movie. We watched it a couple days ago. I was looking at, like, some of the movies that they claim to have... Giallo influence. Two that stuck out to me. Halloween.
Oh, I could feel that immediately.
And Seven. I got insane Seven vibes from this movie for a couple of different reasons, and I'd be interested to know if you picked up on them because I know you love Seven as much as I.
Credits?
Opening credits.
Yep. And then you have the detectives kind of...
The constant rain in the city all the time. It's always raining in Seven. Every scene.
Was it raining all the time in this movie?
Police. In most of it.
In most scenes, it was. Yeah.
The police station in this movie seemed very similar to the police station in Seven, where it's very open. The desks, like that type of thing. But I think most of all, what reminded me of that was Detective Kakoa Shaw, the chase scene, where he's chasing Gabriel.
Yep. When
he finds him, after he finds that murder, and he's chasing him like down the side of the building, Into the Underground tour. That reminded me of Brad Pitt chasing John Doe in Seven a lot.
Which, when you see him going down the fire escape the way that guy was, I would have stopped chasing.
It was funny. He was like,
gone
are you fucking kidding me? Like, and then it was wild. It was wild. And I think we have a lot to say about Gabriel, the killer in this movie. We'll get to that. So yeah, I just thought it reminded me a lot of. It was inspired by several different movies, and Seven was one that I like. I love that movie so much. Anytime I see references or influences, it kind of catches my eye. Which I thought was funny because when we covered The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which was produced by James Wan, not directed, I remember we talked about the fact that he said a focal point of influence for that particular movie was Seven, and I saw nothing from Seven in that movie. That movie stunk.
I always find it interesting when you find out what their influences for their movies are, because a lot of times it doesn't mesh up with what you think.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a subconscious thing for them, like they don't realize that that's what they're doing, but they are, and they had something else in mind when they were coming up with it. Maybe they watched some movie that sparked some sort of interest, and that's why, because you never really know what. It's amazing what sparks your imagination. It can be the littlest thing.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with what you're actually trying to do, which is interesting about it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, so I already kind of gave my thoughts here, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts as well. So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th movie from this year that we've covered. The year of our Lord, 2021. Some of the other movies that we've covered: Spiral from the Book of Saw, the Fear Street trilogy, so these are movies that I've seen, Wrong Turn. We covered Candyman. We covered A Quiet Place Part 2. We covered The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. We covered Godzilla vs. Kong. And I also saw Willy's Wonderland. So where does this rank for you in 2021? Like, did you find, is there anything better than this for you?
So I liked Candyman. I liked A Quiet Place too.
Yep.
I liked, those movies were good. I thought Candyman was great.
Yep.
But this movie gives this year a reason to be relevant, in my opinion. Like, this movie is a standalone. Like, you can't rate this with those other movies because it's so original, it's so different, it's so weird, it's so gory, and it's so good.
Yeah.
That it kind of saved the year for horror, I think.
Yeah. We're coming into heavy hitter season, though.
We should be. I know. So we should be in there, but I mean, right now it's number one for me.
Yeah, me too. And this is easily the standout for me. It takes the biggest swings. I think it hits home runs everywhere. And it's just, I feel like everything else this year, for the most part, has kind of been like milquetoast. Pretty good, but not great movies. I think everything else has been okay to pretty good. I think this is like a bold statement, and I think it's my favorite. I feel like this is a very abrasive movie. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that's looked back upon in several years, and it's going to be a classic.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And so for me, there's like 3 movies that this kind of reminds me of, but doesn't have anything to do with them for the most part.
Yeah.
And that would be The Void, which I don't really know why. Yeah. I think of The Void when I think of this movie. I think maybe the overall atmosphere, the weirdness of it, that just, I don't know. There's something about it that it just draws me, and those are the type of movies that draw me in. The Void is one of them. The other movie would be Sinister, for some reason, draws me in. Maybe it's kind of like the boogeyman thing.
Yeah.
And the attic and like all that stuff. Like, I really like that movie. I also thought that movie, when it came out, was very unique for what it did.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those movies that will be remembered for forever because it was so different. It was so weird. But at the same point in time, it hit all those perfect aspects of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like this movie did. And then the third movie would be The Dark Half, which I feel like nobody's fucking seen, and people need to watch that movie, and that movie needs to get some respect.
Timothy Hutton, baby.
That might be one of Stephen King's best. That might be one of the best adaptations of a Stephen King movie, and it ties in. I mean, the main character, Timothy Hutton, who's a writer. So, aside from the general concept of that movie and this movie, nothing is similar. But Timothy Hutton had a malignant tumor removed from his head when he was a child, Turns out it wasn't a tumor. It was his...
It's not the tumor.
It's not the tumor. It was his twin brother, conjoined twin.
Mm-hmm.
And it never fully was removed, so it's influencing him, and he's causing him to murder people and do all these things that he didn't realize.
Yeah.
So other than that movie, I can't really think of a movie that... This had to have had strong influences from that movie.
Oh, my God.
Regardless if James Wan says it or not.
Yeah.
The other great thing about... So, let's give Dark Half, it's 5 minutes
of fame. It's a very good movie.
I think we should do that movie on the podcast at some point.
I'd love to.
George Romero directed that movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. It's a good movie.
And it was probably... I never read the book, but from what I've read, it was the truest adaptation of a Stephen King novel that's been made. And that's probably because George Romero and Stephen King were very close friends.
Yes, they were.
So they worked together on it very well. But that movie, if you haven't seen it, 1993, Timothy Hutton, George A. Romero, Stephen King, watch it. Underrated. Nobody talks about that movie when they talk about Stephen King movies, and I think that needs to be talked about.
It definitely flies under the radar, and I feel like Malignant takes the concept of the dark half and turns it up to a 15 out of 10.
Oh, maybe even 30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so I have some facts about this movie, but it's new. But you want to hear some of them?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
I love facts.
Let's get into it. Alrighty, so some factoids about Malignant. Obviously, as we mentioned before, Andrew, this movie is written and directed by James Wan. Again, an original concept and just another movie in James Wan's filmography to establish him as one of the most exciting directors in horror. Between this, Saw, The Conjuring, Insidious, and now Malignant. I mean, he's got to be up there with Jordan Peele, Ari Aster,
past Jordan Peele,
Robert Eggers as one of the most exciting horror directors out there. I think he's probably one. Jordan Peele might be 1A.
I mean, Jordan Peele will eventually catch up to him.
Yeah.
Assuming he continues on with what he's been doing. But
yeah.
James Wan's been doing it for 20 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then, we already mentioned this, but it's a completely original idea, not a franchise or based on anything, which is somewhat of a rarity these days, and as I mentioned, gets extra points for me. Malignant was actually originally scheduled to be released in the United States on August 14th, 2020 by Warner Brothers, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic bullshit, this film was actually removed from the release schedule in March 2020. In addition to the film's release on HBO Max, James Wan's Malignant also opened in theaters here in the United States this past weekend, managed to scare up just $5.5 million in 3,485 domestic theaters. That is the lowest domestic opening of any horror movie in James Wan's career, a career that has seen the director launch some of the biggest horror franchises in history, and I think that is just simply a symptom of...
No one's going to the movies.
No one's going to the movies for the pandemic, and I also think the content of the movie is another factor here. But as I said, this is not going to be the most popular horror movie of the year. It's going to be one of the biggest cult movies of this year and going to be remembered as a classic several years from now.
5, 10 years, 20 years from now, this is the
Easily.
movie you're going to be talking about. You're not going to be talking about Godzilla versus No
Yeah.
One Gives a Fuck.
Yep.
You're going to be talking about this movie.
Yep. Internationally, Malignant has got just under $10 million to date with the world... Jesus Christ. Why don't we just skip that? The production budget for Malignant is reported to be $40 million, so it's unlikely to make back what it needs in theaters alone based on the money.
But you got to wonder what HBO Max paid to get this movie.
Yeah,
it has to be pretty good.
So Warner Brothers owns HBO, which is why they get all
Okay.
the streaming rights to HBO Max. So I wonder. I don't know. It's all out there, but unknown. So I don't know. I feel like you have to look at box office numbers with pandemic stuff differently, obviously, than in years past. I think if everything were back to normal, this would be a big movie. I think this would be a huge movie in the theaters.
I also think movie theaters are dead.
Yeah.
They're dying due to streaming.
Yeah.
Due to having the option of watching this on HBO Max.
Well, think about the last 2 or 3 times that we've
Every
been
time
to
we
the
go,
movies.
there's nobody there.
Nobody there. Nobody
and
there.
it's not like it's a bad movie. It's just nobody's going to the movies.
Right.
People just want to sit on their couch and not do anything. People don't even want to go and get a job, let alone go to the movies.
I know.
First off, they probably don't have the money to go to the movies because they haven't been working for 2 years.
I agree. I mean, I like going to the movies as much as anybody. I think it's a great experience. It's a night out. It's fun. You get some popcorn, get a cherry slushie, and hang out. But there's something to be said about just being able to hang at home and drink beers, maybe toke a little reefer and watch a movie. And I think that there's a lot of people doing that.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
Yeah. So a prominent feature in this movie is the Seattle Underground tour. Now, when we were watching this movie the other night, we talked about this. I've been to Seattle one time. Kat's been twice because she used to have a friend that lived out there. And Kat actually has been on the Seattle Underground tour. It's an actual thing that you can do in Seattle. It actually exists. That's a real thing, which I knew about at the time when we went to Seattle. I wanted to do it, didn't get a chance to do it, but I completely forgot about it. And I feel like that's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's like, that's like the equivalent, the United States equivalent of like going to the catacombs of Paris or something like that. Obviously on a much smaller scale, but I would love to do that. In the scene where Madison, the main character, is talking to Gabriel, quote unquote Gabriel, on the phone in the bathroom, the camera is angled so that the back of her head is seen in a mirror. So it's as if we see her and Gabriel at the same time during their conversation. Right? So the only negative thing that I would say about this movie is that I didn't see the full ending early on, but I kind of was able to pick up on what was going on relatively early in the movie. It all starts when her loser boyfriend, husband, whatever he is, smashes her head into the wall. And after that, she constantly has that open bleeding head wound. And like I could have never predicted what happened at the end.
No.
But I knew there was something up there. I had a feeling it was some sort of a conjoined twin or an evil twin or something like that. But there's some definite foreshadowing here. Speaking of Gabriel, let's talk about Gabriel. So James Wan shared that, in Gabriel's more physical parasitic form, they turned to special effects. So, spoiler territory here. So when, I honestly thought, the biggest holy shit, what the fuck moment of the movie for me was when they actually are watching, so her sister and her mother are watching the tape of her as a child, and they pan the camera over and you see Gabriel poking out of the back of her head with the hands, and that was so fucked up. But that actually was special effects and specifically animatronics to bring him to life. You get a glimpse of those animatronics during the opening and the flashbacks on videotape, but for the movement-based scenes, multiple performers gave life to Gabriel, most notably a contortionist named Marina Mazeppa. Mazeppa? I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Marzipan.
So there was actually an actor that is a contortionist that was doing those things on camera.
That's wild.
Which and I will say, Kat's not here right now, right, Kat? You're not here? No.
Kat, hello.
Kat picked up pretty early on in the film. I think it was the chase scene between the detective. She was like, "Is this guy moving backwards?" She called it. She did call it, and I was like, and he kind of is. Good call by her early on in the movie. Yeah. So and they got a contortionist to do those scenes. And just as a point of reference here, obviously this is a movie, a very far-fetched movie, but regarding conjoined twins, okay? By definition, conjoined twins must be identical twins. They result when the initial cell division that would have made them twins does not complete. It is literally impossible to have conjoined twins that are male and female, so this could never happen. It would be possible for Madison to have absorbed a fraternal twin, but that twin would never have developed to the degree that Gabriel did, and there are no medically documented cases of absorbed twins being anything more than foreign tissue or occasionally bone inside their surviving twin. The vast majority of absorbed twins are never even discovered.
Well, I mean, so you're saying that this movie isn't realistic?
Yes.
Not surprising.
Yeah, so Kat maybe would probably not find this movie scary because it's not realistic, but I thought this was pretty spooky. So, I don't know. That's what I got for facts. Anything to comment on there?
I got one fact.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know if they did, but I kind of wrote like part of the story like 10 years ago, so we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories.
You should have gotten a writing credit on this.
I should have.
For
like,
sure.
I'll maybe what I should do is put it on the website. Put my original short story on the website.
Maybe James Wan will give you a retroactive writing credit.
He'll be like, "Wow, this guy fucking nailed it." Because there's subtle parts of it that's where it makes me go, "Oh, that was in there." Granted, this idea is so much better. He obviously did it way better than I could have ever done it. But there are parts in there that could be contributed to moi. So all I'm saying is, I wrote this 10 years ago.
Good job, buddy. Good job, bro.
I'm a fucking
good job.
A-list director.
So in terms of like half-assed analysis, obviously this is a bonkers movie. Did you like feel off the top of your head, or because I couldn't really think of anything, and maybe I will as I think about this more and more, because I feel like there's so much to digest here. Did you feel like there were any themes in this movie, like anything this movie was trying to talk about, or like, you know, like any analysis that you have about this movie? Deeper meaning type of
like,
thing.
is it woke?
No, not like is it woke, but like, what were they trying to say in this movie? I don't have anything else to really say about like what I think this movie means on a deeper level. So
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I think it's just meant to shock you and scare you and give you a good time.
Movie, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll move on to our categories, but before I do, just a reminder that tonight's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? Well, with HelloFresh, you get pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there is something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on your first order of HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit.
#1!
HelloFresh.
#1, Dad.
So I was saying this to you earlier, but I feel like the categories are going to be a little bit more difficult tonight because we don't have Cat here, and especially for the category, the first category. So, Andrew, I'll ask you first. Did you find this movie to be scary?
No. I mean, it's so out there, it just can't be scary because it's impossible that it would ever happen.
Yeah.
#1. It wasn't scary. I don't think it was meant to be scary. Like, I think at the beginning, it was supposed to kind of get you a little scared, like you didn't know what was going on, but I don't know. I don't think it was scary.
I definitely think it was more shocking and gross.
Yeah, it was just a gore.
Yeah. And I actually think that, like, it's gory, it's extremely gory and shocking. This actually, in the last, like, 20, 25 minutes, turns into, like, an action movie with horror elements, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, which is cool. I liked it. I dug it. So, okay, let's move on. Did you have a favorite scene?
So, aside from I love the scene in the jail cell when they arrested Madison.
Yeah.
That was wild. Like, the amount of death that happened in there was so good.
She just fucks everybody up.
Fucks everybody up. Well, she doesn't. Gabriel does.
Yeah, Gabriel, yeah.
But one of my, like, if we're talking, like, favorite scenes, like, I thought it was really cool. It was early on in the movie, maybe, like, 30, 45 minutes in, when Madison was running through the house trying to get away from this thing, and it was, like, an overhead shot looking down on the house, like an open floor plan. I thought that was really cool.
That was really cool.
I liked the way they did that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that.
It was like a continuous shot, too.
Yeah, continuous shot, like, it was like you're looking down on a dollhouse almost, and she's running through it. I thought that was really cool. I don't think I've seen that in many other movies.
Yeah.
I like that.
Again, a testament to James Wan as a filmmaker. I feel like that's a really cool way of looking at things.
I'm sure it's been done, but not to that level, almost.
It has to be the massacre at the police station.
Yeah.
First in the jail cell, and then, Gabriel / whatever her name is, Madison, is killing all the police officers. It's especially satisfying when they kill all of those losers in the fucking jail cell. That was awesome. You get the reveal of what Gabriel actually is. That was
that
awesome.
Was weird.
And when she transforms into Gabriel, I was like, holy fucking
And you can
shit.
still see her face, like, with the hood on.
That was so crazy.
On.
Like, I feel like I was talking to Craig the other day at the shop about this movie, like, the day after we watched it, and I was just like, he asked how it was And I just said, I don't even know if I can describe this movie to you. Like, I don't know if I could. Like,
you have to watch it to believe.
Yeah.
It's like you got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
I will say that I also really enjoyed. Fuck. I can't remember what I was just about to say. Oh, man, that's so annoying. I can't stand that. We'll continue on, and I'll remember it at some point.
All right. Well, when you do, let me know. The only favorite quote is the next category. And the only one that I could think of was "It's time to cut out the cancer." I don't think this is an entirely quotable movie.
No, I don't think.
But that's kind of the quote that starts out the movie, and it's referenced several times throughout the movie by Gabriel. Yep. Right. So that's the one that I had. Did you have a favorite and least favorite character?
No, I kind of thought they were all really good. I thought they did a really good job. I liked both detectives. I liked the sister. I liked Madison. I liked whoever played Gabriel.
Yeah.
They did a great job with
contortionist.
They did a great job with the mom.
Yeah.
She looked just like her.
Yep.
I have no complaints in that.
You know who I also liked too was the forensic criminologist.
Yeah, she was kind of funny.
That had a crush on the detective and was always trying to hit on him the entire time, and he just like wasn't responding. Like, I thought everybody was good. I didn't really have anybody that I didn't like, aside from the douchebag husband boyfriend. I mean, he's easily the most hateable character in the movie.
Who would like him?
Total fucking scumbag, piece of shit. So yeah, I don't know. I guess beyond that, any beefs with the cast? It's kind of the same thing, but I don't think so either.
I really liked how they put them in a house that seemed like it would be a perfect haunted house, like where paranormal activity would happen, because I think that kind of contributed to why you thought certain things were happening.
Yep.
And I think they did a really good job with that. With
it definitely was a spooky-looking house.
They were trying to confuse you. They wanted you to think that this was like a ghost paranormal movie, and then, what I was going to say is, we were talking about favorite scenes. I loved the way that when she was watching the deaths happen of the other people, like how they transformed the scene into the other house. I thought that was awesome. They did a great job with that. Just like it was so cool. Like they nailed that.
I feel like that is just that
like the laundry room scene when she's looking in the open door of the dryer and you can see it, and then all of a sudden the scene is like
who are you? Why are you in my house? And all of a sudden she realizes
she's like, this is my house.
Watching
and
something
she's like,
else.
No, wait, I'm in someone else's house.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I just like. It's a testament to the uniqueness of this movie.
This movie was like a combination of Saw, The Conjuring, and like it was you couldn't ask for a better horror movie.
I loved this movie. Do you have any nitpicks?
Nope.
I don't either.
I can't think of one, and if I could, it's probably a nitpick.
Kat, do you have any nitpicks?
Obviously.
I don't know.
I didn't like the woman's eyeshadow.
Like blah blah blah.
Kat, where are you? We need you. We're missing you. We need these nitpicks so I can make fun of you.
I knew these categories would fly without her tonight. So we miss you, Kat. We miss you. We kid because we care. There's just so many, it's hard to tell. But did you have a favorite kill or favorite death in this movie?
So I can't remember exactly. There were so many deaths.
Yeah.
But it was definitely in the jail cell.
I found those to be the most satisfying
Those were so
kills.
good. I don't know what happened, but when they were kicking her in the stomach, they're beating the shit out of her, and then then all of a sudden Gabriel comes out, and one of them runs up to the bars in the prison, and I don't know what Gabriel does. I don't know if he rips her face through it, but it is so fucked.
I think he sticks his arm through her completely and out the other side through the iron bars. I think that's what happens. If I remember correctly. There's so many deaths in this movie. Just fucking watch this movie. It's the body count has to be close to 100, I would think.
Or 50.
50? I would say over 50.
It might be more than 50. It could be. It was. You can't even keep count.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. Okay. So, would this movie make a good haunted attraction? And I say, yep.
It would be? I don't know how you fucking do it.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
You need a contortionist.
Tough to pull off. You could have some animatronics with the the parasitic twin of Gabriel. You could have some actors doing it. I mean,
obviously you'd have the jail cell, the police station, and maybe the other main deaths that happen, maybe the attic.
You could do some good sets.
Someone
here,
that knows what they're doing could
scares.
do a really good job with that. Barrett's could kill this.
Yeah. Oh, Barrett's could kill it.
Hey, Barrett's.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, a little Malignant.
I mean, they've done such a good job, and they have such a notorious reputation. I mean, obviously, they're not going to be able to ever get the rights to do a film adaptation in their house, but, I mean, they do similar things to this, I'd say, all the time. So last question, or second to last question, I'd say. Do you feel like this movie deserves a sequel? Would you watch a sequel to this? Does it need a sequel?
I think it's a perfect standalone movie. I don't even know how you do a sequel to this movie. And
even though the ending, the last shot, leaves it open for a sequel.
It does, but don't ruin it.
Yeah, I feel like it's perfect the way
Not
it is.
that James Wan would ruin it with a sequel. He'd probably make it awesome.
He'd pass it off to somebody and get a producer credit, and they would turn it into a franchise, which I honestly would not be surprised if they
wouldn't be surprised if they did that, but there's no need to do that.
Yeah.
Let this be what it is.
Okay.
Which is awesome.
I'm with you. I agree 100%. So with that being said, Andrew, we have come to the end of another episode. And this time about Malignant, I ask you, do you have any final thoughts about this movie before we wrap it up?
I think this is one of those movies that if you haven't seen it yet, definitely fucking watch it. And I want to watch this. Yeah. I feel like you got to watch this 2-3 times. This is a movie that's easily watchable multiple times if you can stomach it. If it's the type of movie, because like Mike said, this movie isn't for everyone. Not everyone's going to like this movie. A lot of people might feel uncomfortable. They might be offended by it. But if you can stomach it, give it a second watch, because I am definitely going to give this movie a second watch.
Please, if you're a horror fan, do not snooze on this movie.
Oh, there's no snoozing.
Yeah.
You can't snooze. There's no way to snooze.
Don't let this one pass you by.
As horror fans, Mike, what is one of the main things that you want out of a movie?
Originality.
Originality. That's it. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
Anyone can show people dying, killing people. This movie shows people dying. This movie shows people getting killed in magnificent ways. But this movie has what most horror movies lack: originality.
Yeah.
So, even if you don't like it, you gotta respect it because it is so original and it is so fucking awesome that if you don't like this movie, I don't fucking like you. So fuck off.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So I think with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this catless edition of America's Hometown Horror. Kat, we miss you, and she'll be back next week, I promise you. She just had a prior commitment tonight, but here's where you can find our show on the following social media platforms, including our website, which is ahpod.com, ahhpod.com. You can also find us on YouTube and Facebook. Just go on there and search for America's Hometown Horror, and you will find us. You can also tweet at us at Hometown Horror. You can find us on Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. That's the social media platform we use the most. And you can also shoot us an email at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com, and you can find our show pretty much anywhere where you get your podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, blah, 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 blah. This has been a catless episode of America's Hometown Horror. Andrew, nice job, brother. I think we killed it without our partner in crime.
Awesome movie, easy to talk about. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have to do much. The movie speaks for itself.
This is much more of a you and I movie than it is a cat movie, so I feel like this fit perfectly, right?
This type of movie is everything. This is I could see like Clive Barker could have written this movie.
Yeah. Yep.
So obviously, I'm gonna like this movie.
Agreed. All right, we'll say goodbye to your listeners, my friend.
Later.
Good evening. And we have no Otis tonight, so bye. Bye. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.